We're making beef fajita tacos today. Been a minute since I've done any sort of Mexican food, and these are absolutely incredible. They're full of flavor, they're fresh, and of course, they're easy to make.
Starting out, we're going to quarter 4 large tomatoes. I'm using Trust tomatoes, but you can use Roma or any other tomato of your choice. Once we have them quartered, we're going to scoop out that pulp and the seeds. The reason that we're doing this is we don't want them to leak moisture into our guacamole and make it soggy, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to. And with all of the pulp and seeds, you can save this and use it for sauces. Once you have that done, slice the tomatoes into strips, then rotate 90 degrees and dice into even sized pieces. Try and go on the smaller side, but the size is up to you how you want to do it. Next is 1 red onion. We're going to thinly slice this the whole way across, make a horizontal slice, which is controversial, I know, and then dice this into small to medium sized pieces. 1 jalapeno is going to be used, slice it off the tip, discard that, and then slice this in half. I'm using the seeds and the pith as well, so just slice this into strips, rotate it 90 degrees, and dice into small pieces as well. This right here is 15 grams or 0.5 ounces of coriander or cilantro. Give it a quick rough chop, just make sure there's no large leaves or stems. And then we need 3 limes. With one of them, slice it in half. And then the other 2, we're just going to slice this into wedges. And these are going to be used to serve. And the other part is going to be used in our guacamole. Now, of course, we do need avocados. I'm using 2 small to medium sized avocados for this. We're going to scoop out the flesh into a bowl and then just add a little bit of salt. This is going to help season, obviously, and act as an abrasive to help break down the avocado. Then mash this as fine as you want, or leave it chunky. Dice it even if you wanted to. The choice is all yours. Once you have that done, add in the tomatoes, the red onion, the coriander or cilantro, and the jalapeno, and then we're going to squeeze in the juice of that whole lime. And you can adjust this to your taste as well. You can add more or less. Give it all a really good mix through, make sure everything's combined. Double check it for seasoning, adding salt and cracked black pepper, 10 cracks worth. Also checking the acidity levels as well, and then pop this aside for the time being. Now for the fajita mix, we're going to need 2 brown or yellow onions. Take off both ends, slice it in half and peel it, and then slice these into medium sized strips the whole way across. And we also need 1 red bell pepper and 1 green bell pepper, or capsicum for my Australian and New Zealand friends. Slice around the core, make sure you take off the tip so we're not wasting anything, and then slice these into strips, the same size as the onions, that way it will cook at the same rate. Now for the taco seasoning, add 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of sweet paprika. You can also use smoked paprika for that little bit of extra flavor if you wanted to, or a mixture of both. 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, half a teaspoon of red chili powder. If you don't like chili, you don't have to add it at all, and salt and cracked black pepper, 10 cracks worth. Once that's all in, give it all a quick mix, make sure it's combined and incorporated, and then just pop this aside for a second. And as for the meat, if you can get skirt or flank steak, that's even better. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it anywhere, so I'm using rump steak for this, which weighs 650 grams or 1.4 pounds. Reserve 1 tablespoon of the taco seasoning, adding the rest into the meat, along with a splash of olive oil. Then mix everything together and allow that steak to be coated all over. You should have something that looks like this. Place a large pan over a medium-high heat, add in 1 tablespoon of olive oil or vegetable oil, and once that's nice and hot, add in the onions and bell peppers or capsicums, along with a little pinch of salt. Let these sit for a couple of minutes to get that nice little browning or a slight char on the bottom, then start mixing them all together. And we're going to saute this for about 6 to 8 minutes, just until everything's softened up a little bit. It's still slightly al dente. Add in that remaining taco seasoning, mix and cook this for about 1 to 1.5 minutes, then remove it, place it into a bowl and place that pan back over a medium-high heat. When you start seeing the pan slightly start to smoke, add in another 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil or vegetable oil, get that nice and hot, then add in the steak. We're going to sear this for about 3 minutes on each side. You can flip it over a couple of times as well, just to ensure that it's not burning. And if you do find it is burning, you do need to turn the pan down because your pan's obviously too hot. I'm cooking this to medium rare. If you like it rare, just cook it for a little less time, and if you like it well done or a little bit more cooked, of course cook it for longer. Remove it from the pan and allow it to rest for about 5 minutes, then thinly slice it, making sure they're nice even sized strips. Also have a little taste to try how it is. Heat up your corn or flour tortillas, then lay down the guacamole, the fajita mix with that steak strip over the top. I will also mention that this recipe probably makes about 14 to 16 tacos. We can also top it with a little bit of pickled onion that I have a recipe for. I'll leave the link in the description. Coriander or cilantro, and there is our beautiful, fresh and vibrant beef fajita tacos. Line them all up onto a serving platter, and don't forget the lime wedges that we cut up before.
Just before we get stuck in, make sure you squeeze over the lime wedges and add a hot sauce of your choice. But there is only one thing left to do, and that is, of course, we can then dig in. There's so much flavor from something so simple. That meat's perfectly cooked, it's juicy, has nice flavorings from that seasoning. Guacamole just adds that really nice freshness to it. Then the chili sauce and the pickled onions just balances out everything really well. You got a little bit of sweet, spicy, salty, and an absolutely delicious taco. Thanks for watching.